you a question. From the report that you were given, when you first made the decision, did you think it was only from 2013 to 2014?
That the report
covered that time?
No, of course not.
Okay, because there was some.
I mean, let me a couple of things. A couple words to say. Certainly, this was not an individual decision. That would be you wouldn't think that. This is something that many people looked at quite thoughtfully, just to make sure. And you're also totally clear how reluctant we were to make this decision. I'll just say that's the case. It was extraordinarily reluctant. Just to say that. That's one. Two, just to make sure I'm clear on the point, but I want you to talk and me to listen. There were things between 2013 and 2014, and then there was a whole sheath of historical material that was from 2006 or 2011, some 2006, and before that. So I'm totally clear that the vast majority of the material was from 2011 or before, and I think a lot of it from 2006 or before.
Okay, and how we felt was some of the material was exaggerated, and even in how it was worded for more of shock value. But what we wanted to convey, and which was not conveyed in the report, was Waters was changing the culture exponentially. Things that happened when I was a rookie would get you kicked out of band now with Waters. As soon as the day he took over, he was changing it, and we feel it was unfair to throw all that evidence that happened so long ago into a report that has, tarnished all of our reputations on an individual level. And we weren't contacted. The sample size was so small. There were 4 students out of the band that were interviewed, and one of them was the complainant's child. So with a from my statistics classes I've taken here, that's not a very good sample size. You can find, of course, you can find 1 or 2 people to say something bad about someone.
Yes.
But I don't think that was a method for seeking truth. If you're going to terminate someone's.
I know that when we met about a month ago, this was a topic of discussion, and the reason that we felt that it was important to bring it up again is frankly because when we go and we talk to our peers and our fellow bandsmen, and we sort of relay what goes on, and we say hey, what message do you want brought forward? This is overwhelmingly the message that we are called to bring to you.
Right.
So I just wanted to let you know that.
Let me make sure I hear the message again. So say it again, just to make sure I hear the message again. The one.
The report is flawed. That's the biggest thing we want to know, that things in that report we have never seen, and we've been striving to better the culture of the band before this all happened.
It was poorly conducted as well.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was poorly conducted. It was poorly written, and
we feel like we have to defend ourselves to our friends and family, to the community, when it has some sort of the university stamp of approval. And we're trying to defend ourselves almost against the university.
Yes.
Saying these things aren't us. This isn't.
And every time somebody stands up saying that they support the decisions and the consequences of the report, that's just another smack in the face saying that this stuff in the report is true. And we can't move forward knowing, my name was listed in the report, and I know that there are falsities in the report, and I can't move forward, and other people can't move forward. We can't move forward as a group knowing that we would be moving forward on the basis of this false report, in this poorly conducted report.
Let me try something and see if it helps a bit as a place of. So I believe that the report was overwhelmingly about people I've never met and that you've probably never met in times gone by. That the overwhelming volume of this was historical information that was not relevant to you at all. Overwhelmingly. So I don't want to give a percentage, but overwhelmingly I think that's the case. So I just would say that's true. If there's a way to convey that more clearly, or that we could figure out some way of sharing that, I'd be happy. I would be more than happy to do that, because that's always been the impression that I had. If the report had been true at all of today, then we would have had. Then it would have been the band we would have had a different action. My view was that you were an entirely different group of people and able to represent the university proudly and in a way that we'd all be able to support.
Then why did
You
our
need to say that
director have
publicly
to?
then.
And then why did our
I'm happy
director
to
have
say
to
that.
lose his job over this? Why was our leader, who was doing these changes, who was responsible for the success and will be responsible for the success in the coming years because of all the work that he's put in over the last 2 years? Why did he have to lose his job over things that happened before him?
So let me just talk about what I can say and the kind of constraints that are around that, because it's a personnel decision, and there are pathways that those follow, and there are things that I can and can't do, or can and can't say as that pathway is moving forward. They're very formal pathways meant to protect people on both sides of things like this. This is not the only time that we have somebody who's been removed from a position, and there are protections in place for that process. So let me say that, so I'm not going to be satisfactory, because I'm going to say that I'm not going to talk about that specifically, because it would compromise the fairness of the process that goes forward. Let me say that when we have a personnel action, it is directed to the actions of the particular person involved, and so that's what's looked at, and that's the separation that we're making here. Okay. I think I wanted that to be clear enough, and as clear as I could be without.
But I guess how we feel is he was fighting to change his culture, and he was making great, just an example. Back in the old days, the band used to flip off a glow blue sign under the stadium.
Yes.
And as soon as Waters took over, he said, we're stopping that. He says, we're better than that. And that's just an example of things he did. Another example, he called me to his office right after Drum Major Trouts this year and said, I'm going to continue on this path of culture change. Some of it might be unpopular, but you as a student leader need to support me, because if it becomes from the students, it will last. If I lay down a hammer, it will go underground. And that was his kind of style. And then to see him punished and conveyed as a deviant and a supporter of a sexualized culture is just sickening.